right, friends, we are back for another episode of Más que un Podcast. Mustache John here with Buga and Pablo. As always, we're going to be reacting to the 2-1 win over Valencia. We're going to jump over and we're going to compare Hansi Flick's first starting 11 to Xavi's first starting 11. I know Buga's got some hot takes for that one. And then we're going to talk predictions for this year. We talked a little bit about it last week. We teased you last episode. So we're going to be giving you some things to debate. Who's going to score more goals, Lamine or Rafinha? Who's going to get more assists, Fermin or Dani Olmo? Who's going to get more playing time? Who's going to miss more games? All right, we've got some of those questions and more coming up. But let's check in with the boys. Pablo, let's start with you today, sir. How are we feeling after this Valencia match?
Yeah, feeling okay. I think it was a weird first game because we had a lot of players missing. But I'm feeling okay about it. We got an important 3 points. I think people nerves, maybe initial expectations have been calmed. I think everyone's just content, like 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 happy. We'll sort of take it and move on and see what the rest of the season holds. But it was a decent start in a stadium that isn't, easy to go to.
Yeah. Buga, how are we feeling, sir?
It's nice to have football back, dude. It's really nice. Weekends are good now. They're not boring. They're not as long anymore. It's just perfect. Like this sport, I genuinely do not understand the people that do not like football. Like, how in the world do you not like football? Like, dude, look. For the rest of my life, I'm gonna have every year a moment where I feel like the best person in the world because football is coming back. We're gonna sign fucking Nico Williams. We're gonna sign everyone, and it's like you just feel like you don't know how many times I thought of Neymar coming back to Barcelona and actually having a smile on my face, like.
You're gonna start with that.
It's like, dude.
Good,
every year,
this guy.
Every year you have a Champions League final. Like, how crazy is that? And every 4 you have
and the same team wins every year. Who just happens?
But there is a final, though.
But there is a final. It means there's a chance. There's a chance. There's a chance that in this world we can surpass Real Madrid in Champions Leagues. Like, the chance is there, and that gets me hyped every single year. So if you do not watch
as long as the Champions League is being played, yes, we do have that possibility.
Every year we have a Champions League draw. Every year we have this, we have that. Dude, I'm okay with it. I'm okay. Let's roll with it. I love football. Football is coming back, and yeah, it's a new world. And like John be saying, I feel good, man. I feel good. Buga is on a roll. This grinded Buga. I don't know. I feel good.
Yeah, wow. Sunshine and roses in Buga's world. I love it.
In Peru.
Well, talking specifically about the Valencia match, who or what stood out to you, Buga?
What stood out to me? The lack of quality in this team. That's one thing. When I looked at the lineup, I wasn't really impressed. I know I went into SOS mode. Already contacting Pablo, my insider. Why is Gundogan not in the squad list? And then when we heard different reports and stuff like that, that got me a little bit unnerved. So I think we're going to talk about that later. But what surprised me, I think Marc Casado, I think it's just actually like the perfect player for this position. I feel like already with the first team squad number, the way that he plays with Bernal next to him, they both look like they've played for Barcelona for quite a long time. And I was actually watching, I think it was Fabregas talking to Rio Ferdinand. And he said that one thing that really caught...
Friends of the pod, no big deal.
Yeah. that really caught my eye. And it's that Fabregas was saying that probably Barcelona youth prospects, like once they go out of Barcelona and they move somewhere else, like you normally you never see them again. Like Carles Aleñá, he went to Getafe, and Ricky Puig there in LA Galaxy. Like they never end up like really succeeding. But when they do, they become world-class players. And I think it's the way that it's implemented in La Masia, exactly like their philosophy, everything. I feel that it's just perfect for Barcelona, right? And that's what I mean. I think actually was this the sort of answer all along, just trusting more in the youngsters. It was always there, So that's one thing. And the last point before we hear what you guys has to say is that one twisted take, and I remember now. What was it? Because I said I forgot it. Is it me or for me? I'm gonna say this twisted take. I'm gonna get hate in the comments. I love you guys. I really do. I don't like Cubarsí with a number 2 shirt. Doesn't fit.
Oh no. Yeah, no.
Doesn't fit.
I'm glad you said that. It feels so awkward to me. I don't like it at all.
I don't
feel
like it.
It's
No
I feel
banco.
like it
No banco.
downgrades. It downgrades his aura.
Yeah,
what it does.
no banco, no, nothing like at all. Like it looks so weird. It looks bad. I honestly do not like it. Yeah, that was my twisted take. I saw Pablo laughing there. What do you think?
Oh, I thought it was going to be like a footballing opinion, you know, but like I actually agree. I don't think. I don't think it'll be that twisted. I think most people will say like it's a bit weird to have a number 2 as a centre back. I've always said that though, and he's a number 3 Cubarsí, really. You know, he's not.
But I mean, Saliba with the number 2 at Arsenal, that's aura. Like that works for me. That works.
That's
number
that's
2.
That's because you're a hipster.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm a hipster.
Because he's an Arsenal player.
Oh, look at me,
Oh
Pablo.
God.
I'm so normie. I eat bread with ham and cheese every day. And chocolate milk.
Oh my gosh. We're doing it. We're doing it.
I don't eat any of that anymore, you know.
No,
Whoa, what is it these days?
What is these days?
I've stopped eating ham and cheese sandwiches at lunch, and I haven't had chocolate milk since I've moved to Spain, mate.
The fact that Pablo has to defend himself against chocolate milk attacks on his podcast. This is why we show up. This is why we come here every week. And I love it. Speaking of, before we get back into things, show us some love. Make sure you're subscribed. Give us your thoughts down in the comments as we go through our reaction to Valencia and we do some predictions here. Most importantly, let us know your thoughts, your opinions.
Can I show you something?
Where do we disagree? Where do we agree? We want to hear from you. Make sure you're subscribed, folks.
Can I show you something? I have...
No, I'm not falling for that again.
No,
I have... This
time? I don't know if you can see because it's flipped around, but I have...
That's nothing.
I have like notifications of Ferran Torres whenever he posts on social media. So I get like, Ferran has just posted and you post on Instagram. He has added things to his story. He's the only one I ever had that. Like, I will have a girlfriend, and I swear to God, Ferran Torres will be up there in notifications.
I was just gonna say, like, are you guys going steady now? Because that's adorable.
Me and Ferran?
Yes.
Sometimes, but he didn't score a goal. I asked him to do a celebration for me, and unfortunately, it's not there. He's gonna have to do the Anthony and just raise his shirt like when the teams are forming up and lining up before the game because he knew.
Baby Booga.
Yeah. Did you see that, Anthony? Did you see that Anthony did that because he was never gonna score? Like, like that guy just shit, bro.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna rein us back in. Rein us back in a little bit.
Please do.
Booga, you talked about, or was it Pablo? I forget now because that was a tangent. One of you mentioned Casado. There's a lot of hype for Casado and Bernal, but I think Casado in particular is getting a lot of the attention right now. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that is Frankie de Jong's spot when he's healthy. I have not been as impressed with Casado, I think, as everybody else. I love his effort. I love his determination. His positioning is great, but his passing for me, there's too many times when the pass was off. It didn't connect.
If I could raise my eyebrows more, I would raise them more.
I wish you would. I wish you raised them right off your sweet head. Because like I said, I love the effort, love the commitment, love the understanding of the game. I love all that. There's something missing in the execution for me. And I think all the hate around Frankie de Jong, all the speculation around should he not be a Barcelona squad member, that's Frankie's spot for me once he's fit.
Yeah, I mean,
I hear that.
I think that, but when you're being honest, like when I look at who two players could play in the double pivot position, I actually think the if Gundogan is to leave, that we're gonna talk about that, I think it would be Frankie and Casado. Like that's the two players I would put in. Like because I do think Casado is a little bit more suited there and a little bit more defensive than all of our other players. And the other one I could only see being tested there. I mean, Gundogan, of course, and Gavi. I think Gavi is the one that simply because of passion and that, he's like a little N'Golo Kanté.
Yeah. Pablo, what were you going to say?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it's what we spoke about last podcast, that it feels like there's a role for Frankie to grasp in this team when maybe there wasn't in the past. I think he must be itching to get back from injury because there is a gaping wound in that team right to gobble up, because we've got a lot of players who maybe would be better in the number 10 position, but not in the double pivot. Him next to Casalor could be key. It really could. Interesting. I thought it was going to be a double pivot. If you actually saw the game against Valencia, it was actually more Bernal in the single pivot, Casalor to the left, and Rafinha to the right. I thought that was interesting. So it was actually more of a 4-3-3, really. Adapted a little bit in the second half. I think Casalor went a little further back and more to the right-hand side of the second half, so that did change a little bit. And I think it worked better for us as well. I think Casalor was great, though. He was the one that stood out to me. He was my MVP of the game because I think he controlled things really well. I think you could probably notice that there were two Barca youngsters in the midfield. I will say that at times in the game. I don't think we controlled it as much as we would have in a typical game against Valencia, especially in the first half. But I think he was really tenacious. I think without the ball, he recovered possession a lot, made some really niggly little blocks, kept on nicking the ball back for us. I think he progressed the ball well. He was tidy in possession. Positioning was sharp. Great engine on him, was running right to the 90th minute. Looks like a really good player to have in this squad. If you're thinking about sort of releasing that utility sort of player, if you like, in the Sergio Roberto, for me, this is an upgrade for me in Casalor, and he looks like a good player in that midfield for Barca, a profile we need too. So I'm really hopeful for him.
Were either of you surprised to see how far up the pitch he was getting?
Yeah. I was quite surprised. If I'm not wrong, he has also played right back before in the youth system. So that could be a bit why. But look, I think Casado is a good player. I think we're gonna see plenty of him, maybe even the next game. Particularly if we get rid of, once again, I say Gundogan. We're gonna talk about that later. I said that like 4 times already.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. We better talk about it. Imagine we don't. I think that the thing that worries me a bit is that is it just that he's the only player we have? Are we like going really all on? Let's go all in on Casado because we haven't signed a pivot. Like today, I read that Deco apparently like reactivated the negotiations or the search for a pivot because man, we need one. Like we are lacking, and even just with Casado and Frankie, which are the only two players I see that can fit there, that are naturally to play that position. I think Barcelona, like I'm looking at this team and I'm very worried. Like I'm very worried that the quality of the names, and not the names particularly, but the way it has been constructed, that is for me the most worrying thing. You look at positions where we have one player and that's it. Like, look, Hector Ford is really good, but we only have Koundé there. Like Koundé is out, and Hector Ford has to start a Champions League semifinal. You know, it's like those are the sorts of things that we're looking at, and I'm a bit worried about that because, dude, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's gonna pay off.
No, I agree, Bulgar. Sorry, I think one of the big things we have to talk about coming off this game is exactly that. Obviously, we can have a few impressions on players, like how we thought Lamine played or Casalor, etc., etc. Let's just like look at this like Barca squad though, and where we are under Hansi Flick. Like, how are we feeling? Because obviously that first lineup isn't the Gala 11. Obviously, there are a lot of players missing. I mean, if we played with that team for a season, we'd probably be in a top 4 fight, of course. But yeah, like, even apart from that, I completely agree, Bulgar. Like, you're looking at this squad and like 4 years into the Laporta project, and you are looking at it thinking, you know, what are we going to do this season? Looking at compared to Real Madrid as well, how strong they've got, of course, in the fight for La Liga, just as a minimum. You know,
not even Real Madrid. To take a look at Atletico.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people will be typing in the comments and stuff and talking about after this game. It was a good first win. I think we improved in the second half. But like looking at this squad right now and where Barca are out under Hansi Flick, I think is an interesting analysis in terms of how good are we really right now.
And Johnny's just opened his mouth first, and so you go.
I was just gonna say we need to be patient with the players coming back from some summer tournaments, new manager, new tactics, still not having a healthy squad. The difference that having Araujo and Frankie alone, just having those two is going to be incredible. Think about how many times Araujo is going to win a ball back up the pitch that Inigo Martinez is not going to get to. Think about how many times Araujo could push forward with the ball at his feet that you're not going to get with an Inigo Martinez. I've already talked about Frankie. So I think this is where it is a team sport. One player can't win it for you, but the impact that one or two players can have, particularly in the middle of the pitch, when you talk about a center back and a center midfielder returning, for me, and Pedri coming back and being healthy. I think in these cases, possession for Barcelona is key, and it really does make a difference having those players back. So
what I need to know, like, I desperately want to find an answer to. Okay, are you telling me that you signed Dani Olmo first because you knew that Nico Williams was not going to come, or what is the planning on there? Because then you're saying it's the contract that you cannot register him because there's not enough wage bill. So what's up with that? It's like, where's this is my target. I'm going to go for this target. We don't get the target. I'm going to go for the next one. Like those things like that, it doesn't really happen at Barcelona. And like I was saying, the planning, the construction of this team. Did you know that Mazraoui went to Manchester United for 15 million euros? 15? Yeah. Dude, you could... That guy, like Mazraoui alone, could be a good backup for both fullback positions. Like, that's pretty good. So I would take that. So where are the people making these negotiations or finding those deals? That I'm a bit worried about it, particularly, like I said, because Valde gets... Yesterday we had a very good example. Valde gets injured, we get Gerard Martinez in. Gerard Martinez is right, correct. Gerard Martinez in. Martin. Like, good. Okay, I trust you. Like, I'm not going to say you're a bad player. I don't know. We have to see a lot of you, of course. But it's like, we are Barcelona Football Club. And it's like, I have never in my lifetime seen this many positions where the gap is that big. Look at the time where Ter Stegen got injured and we had Iñaki Peña. Like, fair play, Iñaki Peña, you had some good games, but the drop-off is just really big. Yeah. And I'm looking at Dimitrevski going to Valencia for, like, bare piece. I see Jasper Cillesen, he's the new goalkeeper of Las Palmas. So the quality of the players that can be out there, just that you can get through the door, it's surprising. Like, it's just a bit... It's a bit surprising how little we actually do our research.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how much of it is not the transfer fees but the player salaries.
Probably.
Still, Barcelona is just getting their head above water. So I wonder if that plays a factor in it, because Nico, from the reports, was going to be asking for a pretty big sum of money to be paid annually. So that could have been the difference maker there. Maybe Dani Olmo is playing for a significantly lesser wage. And it is a weird signing for me. I know we already talked about this a little bit, but Dani Olmo is a strange signing for me, to go from targeting a winger to then going for more of an attacking midfielder, when if you look at our midfield, to the points you guys already made, a defensive mid is probably what we need. Switching to a 4-3-3 that we typically see with Barcelona with one pivot, and now Hansi Flick's double pivot, it makes it even more of a need. I would much rather have gone for a Zubamendi or somebody of that, like
Amadou Onana went for the same money.
Onana, who scored yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? So that, like, as soon as he got that header, I was like, man, I would have loved to see that for the Blaugrana. But I gotta suspect that it comes down to player wages and the wiggle room that Barcelona has right now. But I agree. We don't have the depth that you would like to see. Right?
Okay, probably Pablo, I don't know if you know, but I'm gonna ask you anyways, because I feel you're like Mr. Barcelona at this point. If I ask you, like, do you know what is the actual way that it works? Because, like, why did we spend 60 million on Dani Olmo? Cannot that money be used to, like, pay wages or something like that? Like, that's something I do not understand. Do any of you have, like, any understanding of why La Liga does things like that?
Oh, like how the money that you have gets allocated?
yeah, like, look, we have 60 million. You're going to pay 60 million. Okay, Leipzig, let's say, is going to be 30 million. Are you telling me those 30 million cannot go to pay Nico Williams for like maybe a year? You know, it's like things like that. Or it's like two different pozos. In Spain, in Spanish, you call it pozos, where you have like all this money is only dedicated and can be used in this area, and all of this money can only be used in this area. So is it something like that? Because it
separate pots. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think you generate money freed up. That's why we always hear, like, for example, now Araujo's not playing, so they used his salary space to register Inigo Martinez, for example, and they'll need to on the salary space to register Dani Olmo. In terms of transfer fee, I think we've probably been blinded by FIFA, me included, where I don't think you have like this set transfer budget of like 80 million. Now that you've used 60, you've got Dani Olmo. And then for a club like Barcelona, they can spend an X amount % of whatever like revenue they have as a club, which is obviously very big for a club like Barcelona. The issue is that in La Liga, you have to abide by this 1-to-1 rule, which Barcelona haven't been at and still aren't at. So I think if we're talking about if Barcelona had this 1-to-1 rule, I think technically the possibility is endless in terms of what we could spend, because we've got a club with a lot of money, and that's why you see all these clubs in England, they can just bash out millions and millions every window. I think it's the fact that we're not at this 1-to-1 rule and don't have salary space to actually bring these guys in. But I think in terms of transfer budget, hence the fact that we've been able to just splash 60 million on Dani Olmo out of nowhere. I don't think it's not the fact that like we've had to sell. We've reached 60 million and now we can spend it. Do you know what I mean? It's not like FIFA.
It's the players. It's like Frankie or someone who has big wages. Like they need to cover up because like I think I understand.
People are gonna load in the comments now.
I don't want to.
One of the top comments is Frankie's salary. Oh, we need to sell Frankie right now. He's only got 2 years left on his contract and he doesn't do anything. We need to sell Frankie
Lewandowski.
Right, it's happening right now. I see you. I see you typing.
So Lewandowski, like, dude, I love Lewandowski. Like, if I actually walk through the street and bash into him, I'll be like, Roberto. But do tell him, you know, like, like, don't sell Frankie.
I said sell Lewandowski early.
In his third season. The other day I was thinking about it. His
value will never be higher than it was at the end of last season.
Every season he goes lower, exactly.
Every season it goes lower, baby. And we're not going to win the Champions League with or without him. Might as well get some cash.
Yeah, and he's never going to win the Ballon d'Or here. So,
did you notice that he played differently at Mestalla under Flick? Remember under Xavi, he would always come deep and he'd try and get on the even if it was for stupid little touches. He barely touched the ball, but he scored 2 goals and 1 Barca of the game.
Yeah, I made a note that he was uninvolved but impactful.
Mm-hmm. For me, that's the sort of player I want from him. Like that's exactly what I want Lewandowski to do. Like I don't want to believe that Lewandowski thinks he's Harry Kane or someone like that. You know, there are some players who can do that, but it's like you don't need to be that. You have already been the best freaking poacher, like almost in the decade. So just be that, you know. And I think that's a way to go. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think with the players that he has around him now, he should be able to just wait for service in the box, and that's where you'll get the most out of Lewandowski. All right. Anything else from this Valencia match that we haven't talked about?
No. In summary, it was a weird first game because a lot of players are missing. Let's wait and see for the team to come back. But I think there are obvious concerns season regarding the squad as a whole and where Barca are at. But look, I think there were some things to like from Flick's Barca, and especially the way we controlled the second half. And it was a difficult place to go. We'll take the 3 points, but there's a lot more to come, and there's a lot more players to come up before we see how this team is really going to compete this season. But I think these sorts of questions will come up for a few weeks in a row now.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of questions that have come up, Booga, you've been teasing everybody. What's going on with Gundogan? Is he going to stick around with Barcelona? There we got, 12 days, something like that, left in the transfer window. What do you think's going to happen, Booga?
No, please no. He's like our only second player who's rated more than 86. So we need to keep him. Like,
are you talking about EAFC ratings?
No, like low-key Gundogan. I understand. I could see why he may want to go. Like, I can see it. I feel he's a sort of player that just hasn't sort of fitted directly or very well settled into the squad. I think I understand it. Like, people has always been a bit unnervy next towards him, but he's an amazing player. Like, he's a very, very good player, and easily I could rank him in the top 10 midfielders right now in the world. Like, no problem. Problem is, where's he gonna play? Because now with Dani Olmo, it's like we just spent 60 million on him. Is he gonna be higher at the pecking order? Also, what is his relationship with Flick? We don't know, from the German national team. So things like that, always, we just don't know about it. And at the end of the day, look, if he goes, give me 40 million, give me 30 million. Like, I could see Gundogan like in which team could he go to? I'm thinking like he could go back to Manchester City, or maybe he could even do like an Arsenal type of thing, because he's still up there. He's still up there. It's either he goes to one of those teams or he goes to Fenerbahce with Mourinho. That's it.
Oh, I would hate that. I don't see him leaving. Two, if he does, there's no way we're getting 30 or 40 million, because Barcelona, ever since the Neymar fiasco, we have lost leverage in the transfer market.
Yeah.
Everybody treats Barcelona like we're desperate, and it's because we are. That created a ripple effect that Barcelona just lost clout.
Can I just say, market. Dude, Frankie Kessie would be so good in this double pivot. He would be so good next to Frankie in the double pivot. Like, come on, dude. He was amazing.
I'll give you that, actually. I'll give you that, actually.
He would be amazing. He would be the Goretzka. Oh, oof. It's getting hot in here.
Pablo, calm him down.
I don't know if you would, mate. You know, like he had a good role at Barca, but I don't know about him in a double pivot. He has to be a bit more comfortable.
He played that in Milan when they won the Scudetto.
Yeah, it's a different game. Mate. It's a different game. In terms of Gundogan, though, I mean, I do wonder where his role is in this team. I don't know if it's in a double pivot, and I don't think it's in number 10. I think number 10 is for Dani Olmo, by the way. Number 1 is for Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo will take the number 10, and he'll be the starter for this team. And then I think behind him, you've got all sorts of options. Firmina's got to be up there too. Flick's got a headache problem on his hand if all people are available, by the way. And I agree. I think Gundogan's had a bit of a culture clash at Barca, actually. I don't think it's worked out. From the second he stepped into the dressing room, I think there's been a conflict a little bit. And I think that's come up at different moments. The Araujo situation, for example. The Clásico, the first one at Montjuic, he didn't like the reaction after the game either. There's been moments with Gundogan. I would understand him wanting to move on. I don't think there's enough time in the window left for it to happen. And after Flick's words last night, it seems like the situation calmed down, really. But I'm intrigued to see his role in the team, and I don't see it very clearly.
Yeah, I get you.
In that regard, I put him in the same boat as Gavi.
Right.
He's not quite defensive enough to be the double pivot. Do you want to leave him up there as an attacking midfielder? We'd have to play a bit more narrow, because I agree he's not a number 10 necessarily. I'm very curious what the team will look like when everybody's fit, and we'll see. We'll see what happens if we get everybody fit. Fingers crossed. we gotta get to that point first, but we'll see. But speaking of starting 11s, Buga, shall we jump into comparing Xavi's starting 11 versus Flick's starting 11? This will give us some good context here, I think, for just where each manager is starting. And I know, Buga, you really wanted to compare these two starting 11s here, because you're not really in love with Barcelona's squad right now.
No, I'm not, dude. Like, I think the quality is just... It's not maybe quality is not the right word, but the word would be like, we're supposed to be better than what we were 3 years ago. And are we? That's the question. So I think we can go, first of all, I think, what version of Ter Stegen is better? You know, the one that was under Xavi. Let's do a recap. Xavi has taken over. Ronald Koeman has left us 8th in La Liga. We're using the horrible kit, the one that's like half, weird, bold colors, look like done on Microsoft Word.
Oh, the light blue with the red. It had like the big cross.
Yeah. So we're there. So which Ter Stegen is better, now or there? Then which one are you taking?
I'm actually going that Ter Stegen.
Yeah, me too.
Me too as well. So that's 1 point for Mr. Xavi's team.
He's got to be a talking point. I don't want to go too deep into it, but he generates a lot of controversy with the fan base. By the way, now Ter Stegen,
Yeah.
he went from someone who I think, when there's a whole sort of sacred cows thing was around, everyone was saying, make this guy captain. Around 2018, I'm talking here, make him captain. He gets it. Get these other guys out. Maybe there were rumours of him saying that they didn't train hard enough or stuff. Like Ter Stegen's got the mentality, and it shifted now to people saying, if we want to become a serious club, he can't compete in goal. I'm interested where you guys stand on the Ter Stegen situation there.
I want to hear John first.
I am pro Ter Stegen. I think when Ter Stegen is between the posts and he has a proper front four in front of him, I think he's lights out. I think you get a clean sheet, record for clean sheets in a season like we saw a couple years ago. Last year, injuries for Ter Stegen and injuries in our back four, that leaves him hanging. So I think he gets a lot of the blame for some of the inconsistencies we've had in our defense.
I think that happens with every goalkeeper. Like, no matter the team you are, you're always going to get battered depending on your defense. And it's like people just call him Ter Statuen and things like that. And it's like, I'm looking right now at the goal from Valencia, right? That they scored. It's an open net for Hugo Duro. Like, he can literally, if Ter Stegen stays put where he is, Hugo Duro can just like bang it into the first post. Like, he can just do everything, and that's more on the defense rather, like you were saying, than the actual goalkeeper itself. And about Ter Stegen, like, look, I think if you're looking for market opportunities, for instance, if there's a team out there smashing 60 million, 50 million for Ter Stegen, okay, I understand that. And you go for Mamardashvili, for instance, I could see that. But for the system we play, for a player who has been here all the way since 2015, like, he's perfect for what we need right now at the moment. And I think that people are just underestimating, like you were saying, the impact of a proper defense and how can it shift completely a goalkeeper. I always go back to the season of 2019, is it, that literally Messi and Ter Stegen single-handedly almost won us a treble. Like,
sure,
literally, like, I'm not joking, literally. And insane. He is a very good goalkeeper. The problem is that you're saying the defense and sometimes like the way he passes out from the back. Like Ederson, people are saying he's a very good goalkeeper. Today he missed like 2 chances that almost ended in Chelsea goals. So like that's the way you play, and even in the best team in the world, in City, there, like he's gonna make problems, and so I wouldn't change it. Plus he's our captain now, and Ter Stegen for me is a must keep. Always. I want him to retire at Barcelona. For me, he's the best goalkeeper Barcelona has ever had. Yeah. Big take.
I think there's going to be some heat. But
for me, it is. For me, it is.
Yeah. That's at Booga Luis, everybody, when you want to. All right, Booga, let's keep going then. Let's take a look at this back four.
Okay, right back. Who guys are you're gonna pick? I think this one is easy. We got Oscar Mingueza, Mr. Mingueza. He was such a good player.
I'm going Koundé, of course, but I do think Mingueza was mistreated, I'll say, by Coleman and destroyed his confidence. I think Mingueza is one that the shoulda, woulda, coulda. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's a good versatile player. Like right now in this team, he could have a role, being the backup on a left back, on a right back. Like, good player. Good squad player, called hero. Next up, we have Gerard Piqué versus Andreas Christensen.
Christensen, yeah? Wait, sorry, but I thought...
No, Kubarsi. Yeah, Kubarsi and Inigo, right? Are you looking at the Valencia match?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Inigo. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, so first game for Xavi, he played Gerard Piqué as the first center back, and first game here, we played Kubarsi as our first center back. So who are you taking? Piqué? That Piqué or this Kubarsi?
That's what I was going to say. That Piqué, 2021 Piqué, I'm going Kubarsi.
Yeah? What about you, Pablo?
This was actually tougher than I thought. That's really difficult.
Specifically 2021 PK.
I know.
Dude, but
We did win Copa del Rey that year.
dude, but I
so
think PK's mistreated so much. Like he's like up there with the best center backs of this century. Like I'm not kidding.
Yeah, of the century, yeah. But if you just look at his last 2 years in a vacuum.
But that weighs on me for me. I am the guy who thinks
It shouldn't.
weighs
It
on
shouldn't.
me.
We're going this PK
Yeah.
on this day.
Yeah. Against yesterday.
I'm going-
Your heart out of it.
I'm going PK because I don't like Cubarsí with the number 2. Fight me.
I'm gonna go PK as well. Actually, I think he was still at a good. Level. Sorry,
Johnny's
All
getting
right.
heated.
Somebody in the comments back me up because these guys have lost it.
I don't know.
Off
Maybe
their
you're
rockers
just.
here.
So next
Don't
up.
say it.
So
Don't you say it. I know
PK
you're about to
wins.
call me an American. I knew it. It was going
No, I
to
was
be
gonna
next
say,
words out of your
oh.
mouth.
I was gonna say old.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Now
That
when we
just
go
means I remember better, all right? You guys were mere children when PK was in his prime.
Okay. Next up, Eric Garcia or Íñigo Martínez.
I'm going that Eric Garcia. I'm going 2021 Eric Garcia.
This is actually difficult. You know, I'm actually struggling.
I told you this is fun.
I'm going Inigo Martinez.
I'm going Eddie Garcia.
I weirdly rate.
I think I do. Like yesterday, I was watching Inigo Martinez and I was thinking, dude, if Flick can actually get something out of him, like we're gonna have a good center. He's a good center back. Like before he moved to Barcelona. Sorry.
He is a bit of a dog.
Yeah, he really like he's a how you call it, un perro de presa. That's I think what we call in Spanish, like a hunter dog. You know, like.
Barro.
Here's a question. Is there any chance that Flick moves to a 3-back at some point in this season?
I was honestly thinking that could be a way. I genuinely think that could be a way.
Because there are still some rumors of João Cancelo making his way back to Barcelona. I don't know if you guys are expecting that at all, but if it does, I think it opens up a lot of possibility for going to a 3-back formation, a 3 center back formation. Actually,
I would be open to that.
Because then you can have João Cancelo on either flank.
Yeah.
Throw a winger on the opposite side, and then pick your center back.
No, and not just that. Look, when we look at the back, the best, Xavi won with an incredible defense. The back defense.
Yeah.
Balde, Araujo, Christensen, and Koundé. People forget that team worked really well because in attack we were 3 at the back. Balde was really high up, and Dembélé was on the other flank. We don't need to have a right back there. I was thinking, like, you could just take Dembélé out and bring Lamine Yamal or have a Rafinha there. Stretch the piece out wide, have Lewandowski up top, have someone like Gundogan be behind him, and even play with 4 midfielders. And you can have, like, Gundogan, you can have Frankie, you can have Gavi, and you can have Pedri or Dani Olmo. Like, I don't care. That's what I would do. Yeah. So I'm just saying. It could be a position, but bringing it back here, then I'm gonna keep Eddie Garcia. I think I genuinely thought Eddie Garcia was gonna be like a very good player for us, and I still think he can be. I really do. I like this kid. So next up, we have Alejandro Valde or that Jordi Alba.
Jordi Alba.
Jordi Alba.
He's still for me prime Jordi Alba here.
Yeah.
He's class.
Yeah, I think we have to agree on that as well. Jordi Alba. Then we have Casado or Nico Gonzalez.
Oh, well, that's Casado. I'll go Casado there.
Really? Really?
Yeah,
That's such
over
disrespect for Nico Gonzalez.
You're gonna. What respect has he earned?
Nico Gonzalez is a beast.
He's doing well for Porto.
He had hype. He had some hype there for a minute.
Nah, he's good, bro. He's good. For me, he's really
right
good.
Now? What's he doing right now?
What do you mean? He scored 2 goals in preseason for Porto. Then he just played he played every game, and he scored a goal for Porto in the Supercopa. For Porto.
For who? That's cool.
They beat us in the champion. No, we actually beat them.
B-League, bro. He's playing in a semi-pro league right now.
Nah, yeah, disrespect.
That has rocked me a little bit.
Me too, bro. I don't know.
No, I'm trying to think, because now I don't think of Nico as anything, but back then I thought of him like, this is the guy.
He is the guy, dude. They're still in there. He's still in there. I promise you. We have a buyback clause on him.
He's not. You know. I'll just burst that bubble now for you, but
yeah, but I pick Nico. Who do you pick, Pablo?
Okay, at the time I prefer Nico, because this is Casillas.
Wow.
So in the games,
first game, literally. Yeah. Next up, we have Sergio Busquets.
Don't even have to finish your sentence.
Yeah.
Or Marc Bernal.
Don't care.
Of course, the best CDM of history. Then we have Frankie de Jong, but I guess this one is a bit unfair since
do it.
This is where it gets a little unbalanced.
Gets a little unbalanced.
Do it.
So let's just do Frankie de Jong versus Ferran Torres.
Really? I think you got Frankie versus Rafinha, no?
Okay, let's do that if you want. Frankie.
Yeah, just off of where they played, because we did discuss a little bit earlier that they were a little bit in a 4-3-3.
Yeah, okay. So let's have Frankie Rafinha.
This
will be good. This will get the comments going.
Look, this one is tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Actually,
if we pick Rafinha just based on that he played at number 10, or Frankie when he was there, I would pick Frankie. But the reality is that I'm not joking, and this hurts me so much. I think Rafinha has had in 2 seasons more impact than that Frankie de Jong has had since he come at the club. But I think Frankie's a very good player. Look, I love Frank. I think he has control games, all that amazing. But for me, Rafinha has given me one moment when I went, damn, this guy is class. This guy is world freaking class. And that was against PSG in the Champions League. Frankie has given me that maybe once, but a little bit less. It was against Napoli when he scored that goal outside the box. That was amazing.
That was pretty sick. Yeah.
Or also I would take Frankie in the Copa del Rey final. That was a really good Frankie de Jong as well. So for me, that's
what I mean.
That's a good Frank.
I agree. I think Rafinha's had more impact for Barca than De Jong, which is maybe a sad tale in itself. But if you're asking which player, with looking back to that De Jong at the time, I'm probably going to go Frankie de Jong, actually. I think back still, he'd come off that season with Koeman, in which he was a big player for Barca. I think it was his best season for Barca. And I remember, in those times when Xavi came in and we had this bizarre lineup, I was like, yeah, this is one of our guys, that this is probably the best player in the team, so I have to go for De Jong, as much as I love Rafinha.
What about you, John?
Going Frankie all day. I think Frankie, as I mentioned earlier, gets way too much blame for the results of Barcelona when we don't get the wins. I think people overlook the fact that Frankie has had to play with a rotating squad around him. Always. He hasn't had the opportunity to play next to his preferred midfield. He hasn't had the consistency of the players around him. And he has not had the forwards for him to play the ball off to. The players that are running in behind for him to get the assist. It's been a style of play and a squad that hasn't fit Frankie, and it's not Frankie's fault. Yeah. So now we got a new manager. We're going to have a healthy squad. I'm very excited for what Frankie can do under Hansi Flick in a more box-to-box role. Because this double pivot is going to allow him to do exactly what he wants to do. We're going to see the best of Frankie de Jong.
When Koeman was with Frankie, dude, that season was insane. Like that season, remember that we went to the Copa del Rey. He scored the most goals he had. I remember back-to-back game scoring. The black kid, Frankie de Jong. That was a different man. That was a good Frankie. So
that's what I think we're going to get.
Yeah, let's hope. So Frankie de Jong wins that. Then we have Ilias and Lamine Yamal. I think that's kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, nobody answered. Just you know what it is. We don't even need to say it.
No, I mean one is Spanish and the other isn't anymore. Even if that makes sense. If that's something. Next up, this Robert Lewandowski or that Memphis Depay?
Give me that Memphis Depay.
Oh God,
Dude, 2021 Memphis Depay cooked, dude, cooked. He's just back there grilling.
Look, I want to say Memphis Depay as well. I really want to, because I genuinely think for a moment in my life I was, dude, if we had a front three, we could have had a front three of Memphis Depay, Antoine Griezmann, and Dembele. I thought that would have been a very good front three. But anyhow, I have to go with Lewandowski. Like, even though I really like Memphis Depay, I will forever, it will be a player that pains him that he didn't succeed in this team, because I really do think he's a quality player. Like, he doesn't have that consistency, but when he's on, he's on. And but Lewandowski, the streets know. But Lewandowski, like, even being 36 years of age, like,
that's not old. 36 is not old, Buga. That he's a young man.
No. I'm saying
not old
in football terms. In football terms, like, Memphis Depay couldn't even tie the shoelaces of Lewandowski, for being honest, like, in history-wise. So
if we're comparing careers, yes.
No, but still, like, this Lewandowski is more. Yeah. And
Lewandowski.
Last player.
Well, hey, Pablo, what were you gonna say?
No, I just said this Lewandowski.
Yeah.
All right.
Last player. This Ferran Torres, the Shark, or that Gavi.
Pablo, you go first.
That Gavi, without a doubt.
Yeah,
that Gavi. I'm sorry.
Wow, Buga.
No, Gavi's
that's your man. That's you're not gonna stand up for your man?
No.
Buga.
Gavi Gavi has something that Ferran will never have.
What, you just gonna leave us hanging?
Yeah. I'm actually just thinking. Let
us know in the comments what Buga was thinking there.
I was actually just thinking of something while I was waiting, and I couldn't come up with anything.
You're hilarious. Wow. No, Gavi on the left wing was an experiment. Definitely not a traditional approach to the position, but gave Barcelona something a little special. And not this exact lineup, but Gavi on the left wing under Xavi got us some big wins in some El Clasicos there. So I have fond memories of Gavi at left wing. I don't want to see it, but I have some fond memories.
Yeah. So the reason I did this exercise is because, look, where we are now. We got 8 players that we've picked from that lineup, from Xavi's first starting 11, and only 3 from this lineup.
Wow.
And that is what worries me.
Kubarsi, Lamine, Lewandowski?
No, Koundé, Yamal, Lewandowski.
Koundé, Yamal, Lewandowski. Yeah.
Like, all other players, we've picked that team.
But we've picked a centre-back partnership of Piqué and Eric Garcia over Inigo Martinez and Kubarsi. But okay. Yeah. Give or take those 3 or 4 players. I agree. And that's what I'm saying. That is either worrying, or you're just saying it's the first game, so we're gonna have players back. It's a mixture of both. But that's what I'm saying about this.
It was the same for Xavi. Like, we had. That's what I'm talking about. Like, for then.
Here's what we can do. On a future pod, right? We can take a look at, and I think we got to give it a few weeks, get some players back, see who Hansi Flick actually starts to rely on, and we can go Hansi Flick's preferred 11 versus Xavi's preferred 11.
Let's do that. That's a nice
that'll
comparison.
Be a good yardstick.
But
future pods,
like Pablo is saying, like, for me, it's worrying. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, on paper, you may say, "Oh, Barcelona has a good squad," but when I look at it, I go like, "Dude, I'm not feeling it. I'm really not feeling, because it's not constructed well enough." And that's where I'm going. It bothers me. And I said it on our group chat. I genuinely think Aston Villa as a team are better than Barcelona. Like, I have no problem saying that. I really have no problem saying it. Aston Villa is a better team.
I'd be very curious. I would be very curious because I only have my perspective, right? And my perspective is as a Barcelona supporter. So when I go through my feed, I'm seeing a lot of Barcelona content. I'm curious how much of our perspective around being excited for this team is around the marketing machine of Barcelona and hyping La Masia, right? I'm curious if the average footballing fan who's not necessarily a Barcelona supporter is getting on that hype train, is still seeing those headlines, is having these players on their radar. Like you guys just said, I think it's a no. And so I'm wondering if we're a little in our Barcelona bubble.
We think we can compete for La Liga, but most people think. Yeah, but most people think we cannot.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we are closer to Atletico Madrid than Real Madrid. And I have no problem in saying that I think Atletico Madrid could even be a little bit higher up than Barcelona this season. Like, if their signings hit, like, dude, they hit. So that's what I'm trying to say. I think that Barcelona are in a weird spot where we are not where we need to be. Like, but dude, if we even had like a Nico Williams, that changes. That's why I'm thinking that changes. That's what I'm saying is that sometimes a player can really change your entire perspective or can really change a season. And I think that not going for that player or not getting him at this stage was such a miss. Coming out of that Euros, coming from such a huge impact, such a decisive player, the videos, everything with Lamine Yamal, that was just meant to be. And I think that we're going to be in for a very long season. But this is my question. I wanna ask you this. Before we leave, we forgot to compare one part of these lineups. Can you guess which one?
The bench?
The managers. I want to ask you, where do you think there's more possibility of success? You believed at that moment when Xavi came in, or at this moment when Flick is here?
Like, was I more optimistic when Xavi came in or when Flick came in?
Well, yeah. Who do you think is like, okay, they can fix Barcelona? Because we all think that the next manager is going to fix the team and bring us back where we belong to be. So who?
I'm slightly more optimistic for Hansi Flick just because I felt like Xavi was coming in just to steady things.
Yes.
I really thought we were bringing him in earlier in his career than we should have.
Yeah.
And I think we just needed a trusted, respectable name to calm things down. And that's what we got in Xavi. So thankful for those times. Hansi Flick brings new ideas, which makes me a little bit optimistic. But we're not there. We're not Champions League contenders, whoever walks in.
Yeah. There's one thing that worries me though, is that we analyzed the way that Koeman plays, the way that Hansi Flick plays. We literally got away from the 4-2-3-1 into Xavi's 4-3-3 to then go back to a 4-2-3-1. What I'm trying to say is that if we build this team in a way where we can compete with that system, I'm just saying, be careful.
You're saying that we never should have sacked Ronald Koeman as well.
No. I'm saying
that's what I just heard. I just heard we should have kept Ronald Koeman and trusted in him.
No, I'm saying careful because we may end up 8th in the La Liga sometimes during the season.
Ooh, daddy! Wow, that's wow. Okay,
I'm saying careful. I'm saying careful with this team, because for formations like that, you need a proper team. And Ronald Koeman was sacked because he believed in that system and we didn't build for it. And hello, we're back where we started. We're not building for that team either.
Okay. Well, this is a good transition into our predictions then. I got some individual ones, like I said up front. We're going to compare a few players for goals, assists, playing time, injury time. But we're on topic. So where does Barcelona finish in La Liga this season? Whoever has the gusto to go first.
I'm going to go second.
Do it. You said second?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. Hugo, where are you at?
Oh,
I think we're gonna end up fighting to be in a Champions League spot. I think we're gonna finish third.
I'm going a very distant second. Unfortunately.
How distant is your second, Paulo?
yeah, probably by like good 12 points.
Okay, what's next in the itinerary?
That was a job.
Yeah. Last year we lost the league by 10 points. I'm gonna be very similar, I think. Unfortunately. Okay, so that'll be La Liga, and like Buga said, there may be some long weeks for us. What is an acceptable, realistic finish in Champions League that we would feel good about?
I genuinely believe the only thing Barca fans will feel good about now is semi-finals, because we haven't got there in ages since Liverpool. Yeah. Barca have to get to a Champions League semi-final. New format, of course, this season. Barca need a Champions League semi-final because, and the big question would be go out respectfully. But I'm not even going to say that because I think we say that every year, and I don't think it will happen. I think if we got in the semi-final, it will be a 4-1 at Camp Nou or whatever again, because that's just the way we end up going out, unfortunately. But at least reach the semi-final is what I'm going to say. Because if it's quarter-final again, then you haven't got even past what we did last season.
Yeah. Quarterfinals for me is nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was like... Yeah, you get clubs like back in the day. It was clubs like Lyon would just make it to every quarterfinal and do nothing. Like, we can't be that club.
I agree. Like, for example, who do we beat? We beat Napoli last time. Like, they finished 9th in Serie A. Like, it's not an achievement. Yeah. Genuinely, it's not.
I would take, for me, a good Champions League would be. Look, I agree with you. I think we need to improve, but not precisely by semifinals and names like that. Look, if we get in the round of 16, freaking Bayern Munich, I'm happy, and we beat them, take it, and we lose in the quarterfinals. Like, I think that what we need is, like Pablo is saying, like, I'm still waiting. That performance at the Parc des Princes, 3-2 beating PSG, we take those. That's a good win.
You want a scalp. You want a
that
big
was
name.
That was the most proud I felt of the team in a while. I was like, damn, that's a good win. That's a good win away from home in the Champions League. I take it. We cannot capitulate like we did in the second half, in the second game. Like, that is unacceptable. That's still one of the darkest days. I think I rank it very high up in the worst, or very low. I don't know. The thing is that
one of the darkest Barcelona memories for sure.
Yeah, it's really awful because we had that game in the back.
Maybe
we had the game in the back. 5. It was done. Yeah. It was going home. Thing is, if we lose again like that this season, for me, it continues being unacceptable because it means we haven't improved. You haven't improved because mentally you're still weak ass. So I feel that you need to go out, like Pablo says, in a respectful manner. And look, if we go out in the quarterfinals, let's say we drew away from home to Manchester City, then we draw at the Camp Nou and we lose some penalties. I don't care. Like, for me, I need to go out and for people to say Barcelona are not a humiliation anymore. That's for me the most important thing, because that's the one thing this club needs to change. Like, until you look, are you two still back on Arsenal? And I don't blame you because they haven't won anything. That's the thing.
Yeah, because they're a garbage club.
But that's what I mean. They win the Premier League. They beat a Bayern Munich. They get to a semifinal. They do something, and you see how that changes. It doesn't win you anything to just be good.
I agree. But hence they lost the Premier League twice in a row, and they
But what I mean is that I feel that the losing. What I mean is that the losing in the games like that gets you closer to a win, like to a trophy, to things like that. That's what I mean.
I agree. They are closer.
Yeah. So that's what I'm. For me, it's that I think Barcelona needs to go out no matter where it is. Well, not in the group stage, not in the round of 16, quarterfinals up, but we just need to do something. We, like, we cannot lose in the way. Like, we have to be a team. We're not a team, dude. We're just 11 players that go out there and play and see if we can win the game.
Yeah. For me, it is you are only as good as your last match in the public eye. And so it fully depends on how Barcelona exits. We have to get out of the group stage. We have to get to the round of 16. But how we exit, I think, will be more impactful than anything else. So
Yeah. Even if you reach the semifinals and if you lose,
you get embarrassed, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's like you never reach the semifinals.
Yeah, 100%.
We reached the semifinals against Liverpool. We lost in the way we did. Nobody remembers that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Nobody. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, we are, I think, either at or approaching the hour mark. So let's do these rapid fire. Okay, and then we'll let the debates go on in the comments.
Yeah.
Who's going to get more goals this season, Lamine or Rafinha?
That's a good one.
Difficult one.
I think Rafinha.
I was going to say I'm going to jump in and say Rafinha, actually.
I think
Lamine will get more assists than Rafinha.
I agree. I think if we don't end up signing a left winger, Rafinha will probably play there. So it means that he's going to be at the end of the crosses of Lamine Yamal. So he's probably going to, like, they go against PSG. He's going to go a tapping, bang, and score. I think that's the sort of Rafinha goal we will see a lot.
Pablo, Lamine or Rafinha?
I'm going to go Lamine because I think he's going to add more goals to his game this season.
Let's hope we need those.
Hey, let's go. All right, who's going to get more assists? Fermin Lopez or Dani Olmo?
Dani Olmo.
I'm going to go Fermin.
I think Fermin gets more goals than Dani Olmo.
Here's why. I think Fermin's going to get to come in late in matches and get those garbage time goals, get to just gobble up some defenders, in those matches where we're already up 2-1, 3-1, 3-0, something like that. And then Fermin just comes in and cooks, dude. But I think Fermin's actually going to come in and get a little sprinkle on top, a little icing on the cake.
Oh, my God. I got a friend who went to the US and he's bringing me a Fermin Lopez shirt.
Ooh.
Finally.
But you said assists, they know.
Assists. He's going to cook, but he's going to lay it off. He's a generous guy.
Pablo's there. He almost got you out. Let's go.
No way. I know what I'm doing here. Okay. Who's going to get more playing time by the end of the season? Ferran Torres or Pau Victor?
It's going to be Ferran Torres.
It's going to be Ferran Torres.
But
it's going to be deserved.
For example, if we had to play the same, if we could only make one change, maybe the one change I would have made to the lineup yesterday is Pau Victor in place of Ferran Torres. Is what I'm going to say.
But you're saying Ferran's going to have more playing time by the end of the season?
I think he will, yeah. But I'm saying if there was one change I could have made,
still make that change, yeah.
It might have been Pau Victor in for Ferran.
My change would have been Rafinha on the left and Ferran Torres for the middle.
Number 10.
Yeah.
No, the thing is that I don't think he's a 10. He has to be the you get the ball to Lewandowski, he puts it down. Torres is there to back it up, like the Müller, like Müller was for Lewandowski. I think that's the sort of approach we need.
Yeah,
from him.
I'll say Ferran will get more playing time, but it's going to be close. It's going to be very close. I'll say this. If Pau Victor scores in one of his first two appearances, I'd change my answer. I'd say he's going to get more playing time than Ferran. But if he comes on, gets a couple of appearances and doesn't do anything, if neither player is finding the back of the net, I think Ferran gets more chances than Pau Victor.
Now, can I hit you up with one? Is there any more on your list before I say this?
I got one more.
Okay, hit us.
Who is going to miss more games this year? Pedri or Gavi?
I mean, when is Gavi coming back?
Ooh, that's a good one because he's starting off behind already. He's not due back until like November, I think.
Yeah. For that reason, I'm going to say Gavi, and for the hope that Pedri stays fit this year, which means he'll be fit all season round.
I like that.
I'll say Gavi.
I like that. Okay. I'm going to go with that too, just for the juju of it. Like, I didn't even like asking the question, even though it was my question that I came up with. It felt like I don't want that expectation out there. So I'm going to go with that too. I'm going to go with Pablo's answer. I'm going to say it's going to be Gavi, because once Gavi comes back, neither one's going to miss a single match due to injury. It's going to be a fantastic, healthy year for Barcelona. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, Buga, one more, and then we gotta go. I got stuff to do, my guy.
Okay, yeah, me too. I have to go really quickly. Do you think we're ever gonna have Cubarsí or Eric Garcia, Balde, Gavi, Pedri, Lamine Yamal, and I put an asterisk, ex Fati, all in the same team at once during the year, at least once?
What?
No, are you saying like, was that all La Masia players that you're naming?
No, not all La Masia players, but like Balde, Eric Garcia, Cubarsí, Gavi, Pedri, Lamine Yamal, Ansu Fati, because there has to be a moment in the year for me where at least Pedri, Gavi, Lamine Yamal are together playing. Like there has to be a moment, like in the lineup. I mean, do you think at one moment throughout the entire season, we're gonna see those players play together at the same time?
Yes, I believe at some point we will have Koundé, Araujo, Cubarsí, Balde, Frankie, Gavi, Pedri, Lamine, Rafinha, Lewandowski. Did I just name too many players?
No,
right.
That's exactly what I was asking.
That's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for, baby. Sooner rather than later.
Hey?
You think we're gonna see that?
Will it happen?
Yeah, no, I think maybe once or twice. No, I hope it happens.
And would Fati stay?
No, it won't happen with Ansu Fati though.
Yeah, he gone. Pretty sure he gone.
No, dude. If we hit Ansu Fati, we have a gold mine. We do have a gold mine there.
It'd be great. But I don't know. We'll leave on that one. Let us know down in the comments, does Ansu Fati have any future left in Barcelona? Plus, let us know your thoughts. We just gave you a lot to react to. We want your opinions. Ask us your questions. Let us know what we got wrong. You know, it happens here on the podcast sometimes. But for Buga and Pablo, Mustache John here, we appreciate you tuning in and listening week after week. Again, we are not live podcast. We got new episodes every Monday coming out. We got clips during the week. Make sure you follow us on all the platforms. You know where it is. Subscribe, share, show us some love, and we will see you next time right here on Más que un Podcast.
Ciao, ciao.